The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast, where we highlight top professionals who are making waves in the industry. Now, I'm your host, Karen Roberts, and today we're thrilled to have Blake Sloan with us. Now, Blake is a Myrtle Beach native, started his real estate career at just age 18, and he founded Sloane Realty Group back in 2008. Now, his innovative marketing has really earned him national recognition in Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and more. So Forbes even named him a top 30 under 30 honoree, alongside names like Taylor Swift and Drake. Come on, we've got a superstar here. He's known as the real estate whiz kid. He leads a top 1% real estate team globally and is a frequent Fox News guest. So today he's here to share his journey and expert strategies. So let's dive in. Welcome to the show, Blake.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So let's go back, right? You started your real estate career at just 18. So, well, what was the inspiration behind that? What inspired you to dive into the industry at such a young age?
It's an interesting kind of story because my parents, whole family did real estate growing up. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, entire family. But they did not want me to do real estate. They wanted me to be like doctor, lawyer, something like that. They always did like, okay, my grandfather had a real estate company and he did pretty decent with that. My parents did okay. But through just growing up in it, I was fascinated with business. I was always a student of business, had like a lemonade stand when I was a kid, Kool-Aid stand, a lawn business, a recycling business. So like, I would work and then I would take the money I get from like my business. I didn't have a credit card because I was like 12 or 13. And then I would give my mom cash and use her credit card to buy like, I'll never forget Russ Whitney's like investor infomercials on TV where you could buy like learn more about real estate. And so I was just super hungry as a kid. My parents always kind of thought about money. And so like that was kind of like a big thing, to growing up where it was a challenge for them. And they always made things meet. So grew up, I actually turned 17 and my parents got divorced out of the blue. And it was like a shocking kind of wake up call for me, where I was playing sports, playing soccer. I was going to college next year to play soccer at College Charleston. And my mom, I remember crying and asking her like a week later for gas money. She's like, I don't have it. She's like, I'm just trying to make the house payment. And I borrowed that from your grandfather, which was her dad, right? So it was a big like aha for me. And at that point, I was dating this girl, we dated a couple years, but her best friend had this huge house, huge like mansion, theater room. He had every like sports car. He had a brand new Porsche, brand new SL 500 Mercedes, brand new Escalade, all this stuff they had. And I was like, man, I want to come work for you. And he's like, well, you got to be licensed to work for me. You come back when you're 18 years old. So I was like, all right. And I was hungry. So I was like, all right. So on my 18th birthday, which was December, I went back to his house and I knocked on the door. I'm like, hey, Nigel, I want to work for you. And he's like, wow, this kid's serious. So got licensed. At that point, I was selling like vacation condos, like a kind of like timeshare type, because we lived in a vacation destination. Started doing that spring break in my senior year in high school and did very, very well. They wouldn't let me take a tour the first day because I was so young. Had to call him. He told him to put me out there. He was on vacation with his family somewhere, and put me out there, sold first day, and just learned a lot. And so I put myself through college, ended up transferring back here and playing football at Coastal Carolina University. And then in 2005, I teamed up with my mom, got into real estate, general brokerage, you call it, full time, and the rest is kind of history. So that was the whole story, how it led into it. But I was just super hungry, and I needed money, and I had to step up. It was interesting though, but like once my dad was left, I kind of had to step up and be a man very, very quickly. And I'll never forget that day was like pretty much the toughest day I ever had, but really the best thing that ever happened to me long term, because it made me step up and it made me have this primal instinct to step up and kind of be a business person.
Wow. It's interesting, isn't it, that sometimes some of the quite traumatic or major things that can happen in our lives can actually, you can turn it around. But that's a choice, right? Not everybody goes that way.
100%. And I struggled with it for a while, but looking back, it's like I said, by far the toughest day. I can remember it, I can feel it, I can smell it, I know everything about that day because it was obviously terrible. And but it was a turning point in my life when everything changed. That drive kicked in, that primal instinct kicked in, and that was something that I'm very grateful for today.
Brilliant. So look, your innovative marketing has earned national recognition. So what's been your biggest game changer in your real estate strategy?
So there's a few different ones going back, but like part of that story it gets even crazier. So I teamed up with my mom initially. She was really old school. I was kind of like new school. I read all these books and I was hungry and I knew like there was like coaches out there and stuff. And so we were at Coldwell Banker at the time. It's 2005. Market's doing decent. She's doing, pretty decent. Well, I was like, the first day I was like, what do we do? She's like, I don't know. We'll send some postcards or something. And she'd been doing general brokerage for like 25 years. So I'm like, there's got to be like a system or like, things you're doing. And I'll never forget, we got an email lead in from this guy. She was doing like referrals. She would get a lead. She would follow up with them. She'd pay him a referral fee. And I was like, so what do we say on the phone? She's like, well, I just email them. I don't really have a script or anything. I'm not sure. It's like, man, there's got to be a better way. So I sought out these coaches online. And the first one I found was Mike Ferry. And I was like, man, I don't want to cold call the rest of my life. If I'm 50 cold calling, I'll be miserable. So I ruled that one out. And then I kept searching. I found this guy, Craig Proctor, back in the day, big like marketing guru. And I'll never forget he had a package for $995 to get like this box. It was called the Quantum Leap System. I had a credit card at the time for $1,000, and I just maxed it out. Bought it. I went all in on it. It came with like some CDs, a couple of DVDs, and these manuals. And so that was my first intro to direct response marketing, and just became hooked. I became a student. I loved it. It worked. Back then, we were like running, newspaper ads and things like that. But I really dove into that. Ended up buying my mom out a year later, 2006. Started my own team, and later on, she came work for us. And so from that day on, just became a huge student. But that led to Craig Proctor's coach, which is this guy named Dan Kennedy. And Dan Kennedy's like one of the original, OGs, like the number one millionaire maker out there for a lot of small business people. And so I studied with him, read every book he had, and just became a student of all types of marketing. And that was the rest. I kind of just been doing that for 20 years now and read, I don't know, 2,000 books probably. I mean, it's been every book you can imagine, read, studied it, tested it, tried different things. And so that's one of those things that has been very helpful for me.
It just goes to show that so many people, if they've been in it a long time and they're doing the old style ways, you've got to move with the times and you've got to take action on what you learn, not just buy a course and not do anything with it. So for
Yeah.
you,
It was just interesting looking back. I remember thinking like asking people in the office, like, and no one would help. They would never help. They would just like everyone would sell, like the top people would sell, but they never share their secrets, right? Which I get it.
Mm,
I understand they don't want to help train more competition, but it was interesting. So I just made the investment. I figured there's got to be somebody out there I can pay to gain that knowledge. And really, it was just enough to get a spark for me to do so. And then after that, I've had multiple different coaches in different industries, and it's been, a lot of sacrifice. Worked
mm,
12, 14 hours a day for my entire 20s and most of my 30s, and that's kind of how you're able to get there.
mm. Well, it's paid off. So you've been named a Forbes 30 under 30 honoree. I mean, that's a massive achievement. So, but what did that recognition mean for your career?
So everybody asks that, all the time. I think by far that's obviously the one I'm most grateful for. I think it makes the sacrifice the most worth it of all things. And I have no idea. I didn't sign up for it. Somebody reached out to me. I thought that it was like somebody's playing a prank on me at first when they called. I was like, ah. But I just got in the Realtor 30 under 30 before that. And I think they saw my story, and so by far it's the most rewarding one. I think it's one that really kind of helped solidify just the sacrifice and the things I've been through and the ups and downs. And as you know, running a real estate team and a business in general is very difficult. Lots of pain, lots of sacrifice, lots of challenges, lots of betrayal over the years. And so that's one of those things that getting in that club, kind of, so to speak, has really been amazing. I got to meet some amazing people. And what I found was we all kind of had similar problems. It didn't matter what we were selling, what we were doing. And one of the first things I did was had an assistant email every single person in my class with 30 on 30. And we had a party at Forbes, at the Forbes building that they were giving for us. And I said, hey, who wants to get up, get dinner and something like that. And it was awesome. And two main people answered first. Number one was Eric Trump. He answered really quickly. And he was the first one to respond. He said, hey, I can't go to the dinner thing they're having, but I can get lunch. We had lunch at Trump Tower. The second thing was Austin Allison. He's the guy who founded Dot Loop. He was in there with me. And it was just great to connect with a lot of those people. And those are two really considered friends to this day from that time. And
Wow.
the one thing I noticed is we all had similar problems, right? A lot of sacrifice, a lot of challenges. No one really understands you, the way that you go through things, the pain that you do, and the sacrifice that you make. And so it was just a great thing that looking back makes a lot of the pain worth it.
Brilliant. And now you've built a team, right? You've built a top 1% real estate team worldwide. So what's your secret to maintaining that level of success in such a competitive market?
Yeah, it's I want this all the time. Obviously, the biggest thing is to lead from the front for me. I don't ever ask anybody on my team to do something I haven't done. I've done every single position in the entire team. I've made hundreds of thousands of phone calls, thousands of appointments, and so it's one of those things that like it wasn't something like that you just bought or copied. It took a lot of learning things. We're in a vacation destination in Myrtle Beach, and so it's a little different than a lot of other areas out there. But part of the biggest thing is just leading from the front, leading by example, and be willing to get dirty and show people hands-on. Here's what you do. Here's what has to happen. And I spend a lot of time every single week just learning and growing from other industries, multiple coaches, and different types of industries. Like one of our big things that we do here in our company is we focus on all four equities of life, not just business. And so that early on, I focused everything on business, and I'd sacrificed so much of my health and my relationships, and that was very expensive in hindsight to do. And so we focus on four main areas here on our team and our company. Obviously, business is number one because without money, without sales, it doesn't really matter because you got to be able to eat, right? But we also focus on body, like my health, and that's important for people to live in a place that they're in power. For example, our inside salesperson named Joe, he's been with us 10 years, but he's lost over 60 pounds since he's been with us. Gotten super healthy with that, and it's just been cool to see that happen time and time again. The second thing that we do is our balance, which is relationships. We focus a lot on relationships with your spouse, with your kids, and so we set quarterly goals every single quarter, and we set them in all four areas of life. And so number one, obviously, is our body, like I mentioned. Some people here ran like a Spartan race. Some have ran a marathon. One guy last quarter ran a half marathon. Some do weight loss goals. Certain things, whatever fits them, we have a goal to put them in power, keep them in power so that they have the ability to sustain success for a long period of time. The second thing, like I mentioned, is relationships, to make sure that they're not, focusing so much on work that they don't pay attention to their relationship and they lose that later on, because nothing will derail your business like losing a relationship or finding out that you weren't paying enough attention to your spouse and all of a sudden divorce comes up. And so that's something that we focus a lot on. And the third piece is spirituality, which is just your happiness, fulfillment, growth as a human being, because as people can get easily burned out in this business, one way to really overcome that is to continue growing, to continue feeling what we call traction. As I grow as a human, as my sales IQ grows, as my real estate business grows, I feel more traction in terms of progress, and that allows me to make sure I keep growing. And obviously, the fourth one's business. And so, body, being, balance, of business, been a lot of really cool things that we focus on, and we really track that each quarter. And we set what we call an impossible goal. You do it in 12 weeks, and you see a lot of massive transformation. And I think that's what makes us a lot different than just average real estate companies or average real estate teams out there that just focus on one single thing, which is one dimensional, and that's just business.
Oh, love that. What a holistic approach, because they all have a knock-on effect to each other. So, yeah, well, it sounds like that is really separating you from the marketplace. So, what would be your biggest tip? Look, the last year or so, not for everybody, but in certain states of America, people have struggled. And so for anybody coming into the industry right now, what would be your number one tip on what they need to focus on? I mean, I know you're covering all areas for a holistic approach, but somebody new to the industry, what is the number one thing you would want to teach them?
I think by far, and I've talked about this a lot recently, and this is at any level. This could be brand new. Somebody's been here for a while. Is you have to plug in at a high level with somebody who's winning at a high level, and that could be brand new joining a team, brand new, joining a company or somebody who's got some hands-on culture that can help guide you and really just model what's working right now. And I've noticed even a lot of people who got in the business like during the COVID time, so to speak, in 2020, and things were so easy when everything was in frenzy, right? And I've noticed that now we're facing headwinds as an industry. A lot of people are seeing fatigue. They're not really sure what to do. Things are much more difficult. A lot of agents are getting out of the business. And so you have to make sure you have some type of resource to plug in. Number one, just energetically. Like you can see people that show up to the office, and that's one big complaint. We've seen a lot of agents who we've reached out to at other companies, and they're saying basically that, pre-COVID people come to the office. Now after COVID, no one's in the office. It feels like a ghost town. They feel like they're alone. And so what happens is you start to feel like you're on this island, right? You're not really sure what to do. Am I the only one that's struggling like this? Am I the only one that's not getting deals or whatever it is? But if I can get around those that are winning, and winning at a high level, and I can feel the energy, and I watch somebody beside me book an appointment and get a contract, and those are things that makes a big difference. And you have a team. Like one thing that's really helped me is to stay plugged in with multiple different coaches, multiple different mastermind groups, so that I can watch other people who, let's say we have a down quarter, but I have three other friends that are their quarter's up 25%. I'm like, man, obviously they're doing something that's working. Now I just got to tweak what my strategy is to help match what they're doing, and it allows you to stay in the game and stay in the game at a high level. And I think right now, as we're seeing so many people struggle financially, I think people struggle mentally. It's just a lot of fatigue in the industry, both mortgages, real estate, because things are so much different right now. There's compression on commissions, compression in the amount of sales. And so one of the biggest things that we've been able to do is create an environment of winning where everyone's consistent. If you look at the number one thing that kills anybody's business in real estate, it's the freedom, right? The freedom gets everyone. And what happens and what usually falls first is consistency. They quit showing up as much. They're not at the office at the same time every day, right? They kind of just fluff around, do other things. And next thing you know, your pipeline of 5 or 10 deals went down to 1 deal. Then all of a sudden you're at 0 deals. Then people start to freak out and become operating from a place of desperation, which ultimately harms your business.
Couldn't agree more. And so would you say, with that said, that because people are come away from the office and they're working by themselves, that lack of accountability then is going a long way, because then their mood is dropping. They're not feeling so good about themselves. And so you need that community. What I'm hearing from you is that you've got a great community around it that can support people that maybe aren't doing so well at the moment, to lift them up. Love that.
Yeah. And I think too, the one silent killer that I've noticed, and we just been chatting, we've been adding to our team lately, reached out to a few other agents, and I get that same thing, that there's just a lot of the silent killer is belief. Everything's great, things are going fine. You think you're doing the same thing that you've been doing, but ultimately you're just missing a little bit of an edge here, a little bit of edge there, and next thing you know, it's a month later, 2 months later, your pipeline has dwindled, and all of a sudden people tend to have this freak out moment. And I'm watching a lot of people who would make it in the business, that could do great in the business long term and have a great career, get out of the business because they just got in a pocket where they felt isolated, they felt alone, they didn't have the guidance or the leads or the people to plug into to help them get through the bumpy part, which we've seen the last 6-12 months.
Wow. Yeah. So for you, your team, top 1%, what does that equate to? Would you like to share with the listeners, like for you guys, how many transactions are people tending to do in 1 year to keep you up there at that level?
Like per agent? Yeah, so we kind of have a team model split up. We have kind of general brokerage. Our top 2 agents there typically do 50 to 60 a year. We have listing partners. They partner with me. We have 2 agents that have done 100 homes a year the past 3 years in a row. Their target's 100 each. And so anywhere from there, around 25 to 50, and the rest of the team, based on what they're doing. Our target is 2 homes a month minimum. It's kind of where we want to be with that. And it's been great. We've obviously we've ranged between 780 houses 3 years ago to 550 last year. I took a little more time off. I had 2 kids. I have a 2-year-old now and a 7-month-old. So I backed off a little bit. Market changed a little bit, but we've been ramping that back up. And our goal for 2026 is to get right back at 1,000 houses as a team.
Wow.
And we're a true team model, right? Where we actually our partners in how we operate. We do the marketing, lead generation, radio, TV, billboards, online stuff. And we have a lot of training on sales IQ, the psychology of how the sale works, and things like that. But agents on our team, our top agents on the general broker side, which means they do buyers and sellers, 50 to 60 a year. Our top agents do right around 100 is their target, and they've done that in the past at least 3 years in a row. So that's our kind of breakdown of how that works. And then we have kind of the middle, where most people here, like I said, are doing between 25 and 50.
Brilliant. So it's doable, guys. So
100%.
are you looking to actively recruit more agents right now, or
Yes, and that's one
what's
thing.
your goal now?
So we're looking to add more people on our team, right on 25 right now. We're looking to get up to about 50 agents, and we have massive amounts of lead flow. I've really been focusing on that last 12 months in great quality leads, both on the seller side and the buyer side. Last year, we were averaging around 80 listing appointments per month for our listing team, and it was way too many. My main listing partner said, "Dude, I got too many. I'm burned out, man. You gotta find some more people." And I've really, I don't want to say like hesitated in recruiting. I kind of hated recruiting, the past couple years where it's been like I felt like it was grimy. But recently, that's the industry we're in. It's happening like crazy. People are recruiting our people like all day, every day,
Mm-hmm.
promising the world. And so we've really kind of started ramping that up and saying we have a clear target of where we're going in 2025, where we're really going to do in 2026. And like I said, our target there is 1,000 houses, and naturally, so that we can really have people level up and create more people who are making lots of money in terms of their income. And as I help people make more, then we make more and win at a high level. But yes, we are recruiting. We're looking to add people to our team and to our culture. And what I found is like, I've been in my bubble here so long, we don't realize that there's a lot of agents out there struggling that as we've been reaching out recently. I had a call this morning and no real guidance, no real leads. They're just feeling like they're alone, and they're really like an A player. They're what we call like an 8 or 9 from a talent standpoint. They're just in a level 2 opportunity. And so
Mm.
they need someone they can plug into that have daily accountability, to have guidance, to have mentorship, to have leads, and someone that can invest in them up front so they can figure out the skill set to allow them to build the business they want. And then at that point, what we do is we help power that business with their past clients, their what we call lifetime value, which is their referrals, repeat business, and we really kind of help them build that. And then we back that up with our technology, with seller touches, with communications, and things like that to help them grow their business overall.
Awesome. And finally, look, because here at Icons, we're not just a podcast, right? We are the #1 real estate podcast network globally, and we're passionate about making podcasting accessible to everybody involved in the business of real estate, whether you're a realtor, a broker, an investor, even a mortgage lender, right?
Right.
So I know you have your own show. So would you like to share to the listeners what it's called and where they can find it?
Yeah, so we have for agents out there that want to learn more about how to sell real estate, how to have a sales psychology, a lot of really good stuff. It's called Mind Fuel with Blake Sloan. It's in your favorite podcast platform or Spotify, Apple, things like that. And then also for consumers out there, we have a radio show that we run weekly. We were talking about, but we also put it in podcast form. And it's Myrtle Beach Real Estate Radio Show with Blake Sloan. And most of those you can just type in Blake Sloan and find those there. We also stream them to YouTube so people can find them there, consume it there as well. But we do, I'll tell you, the one for agents out there is a lot of great stuff. Just look me up on YouTube, follow me at Blake Sloan. I think it's Blake Sloan Training we have, and a lot of great info. It's a lot of great stuff about how to just create consistency, how to do your schedule, how to follow up with leads, how to make sure that you can really turn what we call our sales IQ up, which is the balance of skill set and helping people become from leads to clients and clients to raving fans. And then also really the mindset piece to allow you to stay consistent, because the one thing that gets a lot of people in this business is that roller coaster of real estate, right? They have super high highs and very low lows. And what gets people most of the time is their third or fourth low on the roller coaster, and they just can't handle it. And so we kind of help you push through that by watching our training and things like that.
Brilliant. And if anybody's out there that would like to get in touch, if you're still looking to recruit, where else do they find you? Or what is the best place for them to reach out to you?
If they want to just potentially reach out to our team,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just you can also we also have a scholarship. Anybody that wants to get in real estate, we have a scholarship. You can type in Blake Sloan Real Estate Scholarship. Google that. We have another great site. You can go to sloantraining.com. All our training videos are on there. Information about our team is on there, which is really, really good. And if there's any consumers out there that want to see what we do and how our team operates, we have a 30-minute documentary about our entire team at blakesloan.com as well.
Fantastic. Well, Blake, look, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day to come and speak with us at Icons. And to the listeners, I'll be back next time with the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Bye for now.